Kolawole Adediru is a public affairs analyst. We're so glad to have you join us.
Thanks for having me.
Basnaj Global Resources Limited, according to a post by security analyst Zagazola Makama. Preliminary findings show that the inspector accidentally shot himself in the stomach while squatting inside the toilet with his loaded AK-47 rifle hanging around his neck. The rifle, marked GT4177, was later recovered cocked with 29 rounds of ammunition remaining out of the 30 issued. Ibrahim was rushed to Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital where a doctor...
The security operative, you should be keeping an eye on your firearm at all times, especially when you want to drop it, you want to pick it up. I mean, except you are in front of a battlefield or a high tension situation, before you should think about even leaving your firearm in a fire mode, right? So, I mean, it's just all about training, and it's one thing for our security operatives to be trained. It's another thing for them to stick by this training. Most of them, permit me to say, go scot-free, in the sense that some of them are not necessarily even very careful. But until when things like this happen, people will continue to just leave, and professionals like them continue to just act as if these things do not happen or these things cannot happen.
Sadly so. You know that I think a few weeks ago, about a month or two, if I say so, an incident did arise of a boy that had picked up his father, his police officer father's gun, and he accidentally went off killing the man. Now, you've talked about training and all of that, and I mean, in the news today, the head of police services, Kayode Egbetokun, has gone on to say they are introducing, digital methods on how to fight crime to all of the police force, and they're training people currently for that. I mean, usually parts of a gun where you can say it's been put on safe mode, except you're actively in battle, which you've rightly mentioned. Now, do you think that this training, the way it's usually said that you go to a university and you pass through the school or the school passes through you? As sad as this report sounds, I mean, everybody does the number 4. Sometimes you're back, you get into the bathroom, and you just want to ease yourself out. Do you think that these trainings actually pass through these police officers where, I mean, it would be easier to have probably put the weapon on the floor, but it's really a sad story. Do you think that these trainings actually work in real time, or it's just being used as a field day report?
I mean, I want to believe it's been practicalized by professionals. So, I mean, just in the span of this year alone, I don't know about the other guests and that come on the show, but I think I've talked about accidental discharges like 3, 4, up to 4 times. That's not a good score to keep as per. I mean, that's like the basic of the basic fundamentals of training. Like, you can't keep your gun on fire mode. And I get that maybe it was probably very pressed, and the stomach can be really funny sometimes, but there are no excuses, because this is what can happen. There are stories of these things even happening to passers-by and all of that, but now it has happened to someone who is actually carrying the firearm. So I feel like some of them stick to this training, some do not, and I think that's where the police as an organization has to come in and ensure consistency in their training. I've had friends work with some organizations that not police, they are more like security organizations.
Okay.
Or more like an international organization. Like every 6 months they have this consistent training. They either send you to go on more courses, they either reanalyze your what's the best way to say, reanalyze your skill set again, like okay, the next 6 months there'll be an exam, a practical exam for security operatives, and you are to do this and do that, just to make sure you remember your rules, you remember your training, and also use and further grow in that career when it comes to security. That's for an organization. I think that's what our police should be doing. We shouldn't just feel someone that did the training maybe 10 years ago probably not even done training since then. I mean, it should be consistent. It could be yearly. It could be, you know, every 6 months. Let them go back into training fields. I mean, the world is advancing. There are new, there are new, how would I put it? There are new
Systems and
weapons.
technology breaking ground. Yes.
There are new ideologies to, I've forgotten the particular word used, but rules of engagement. I mean, there are different methods that are coming up right now. So these are the training they should be getting. Aside from just even firearms. But in this part of the world, I don't think that happens. I feel like once you become, you pass your exams and your initial training, then you become a police inspector. You just begin to, work and probably do not train, do some practical, analytical trainings any longer. That is where these things fail, because at some point, human beings, you feel like, oh, I've been in this job for 20 years. I'm a professional, in quote. Then you begin to feel you don't need to check this, you don't need to check that. I mean, in some countries, you find out that you're even supposed to make sure your firearms are cleaned on occasionally. But
Yeah.
what can we really say? Most of our operatives in this part of the world usually do that. You hear cases like maybe they're engaging with some criminals and their guns are jamming and all of that. Yes, and yes, it could be old models of guns and whatnot. But if your ammunitions are properly taken care of, it's less likely to have situations like that. That's just more on the broader look of training and
Right.
professionalism when it comes to security operatives here.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. Sadly, yesterday a journalist was killed. Reports have confirmed the death of 29-year-old news anchor Somtochukwu Christel Maduagu, who was reportedly killed during an armed robbery at her residence in the Kantakbe area of Abuja on Monday. In a statement signed by Hadiza Usman Ajayi for the TV station, described the 29-year-old lawyer and broadcaster, described her as a cherished colleague and urged the police to launch a full investigation. Somi tragically passed away in the early hours of Monday following an armed robbery incident in her residence in the Kantakwe area of Abuja that is being investigated by the police, the statement read. The station did extend condolences to her family, colleagues and friends, demanding that her killers be brought to justice. Her death has triggered widespread outrage on social media, with many Nigerians lamenting the worsening state of insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory and beyond. The FCT police spokesperson, Josephine Ade, confirmed that investigations are on the way. The incident adds to a troubling list of violent robberies in Abuja and in the broader scope, Nigeria. Earlier this month, police arrested 4 members of a gang linked to the killing of a disc jockey, while in May, armed men invaded an estate in the Idu area, injuring guards and looting homes. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on this report, Kolawole, but for me, this report particularly resonates with me because this is my colleague. I'm pretty sure the same way I had thought about done my production for my reports for Monday. I'm sure she pretty much brought out the outfit she was going to put on the night before, but never to put that on. And sadly, she has tragically died in this incident. What are your thoughts on this report?
Apologies. It's just a sad one, especially given that there's a phrase Nigerians say, when Nigeria happens to someone, and that's just what has happened to her. I've been seeing posts on literally all social media platforms, and everyone is really sad about it, especially with the fact that she was quite a bright person, and I mean, bright or not, nobody deserves to just lose their lives to things like this. I mean, I know that we cannot completely rule away crime. I mean, there's literally no country without crime and all of that. But the rate at which it is happening in our country now is alarming. And the scary part and sad part is the fact that our leaders do not take these things as seriously as they should. I mean, some months back, our president was it Brazil? I can't remember the country, but has been traveling,
All right.
Countries telling them, oh, come out. and invest in it. And sometimes I get confused and annoying because I ask myself, okay, you are calling people to come and invest, to come and do business, for partnerships and all of that. But we are still battling with serious insecurity, like rising insecurity. It's not even a fact that we are trying to even manage what we have. On the right hand side, you have kidnappers. On the left, I mean, one chance. I mean, in Abuja, that has been a thing for years. And as sad as it sounds, we have a culture. I mean,
Right.
that's like the capital.
Right. I was going to
So
talk to you
it
about
just shows
that.
that, yeah,
You know, you
it just shows
previously
that